Hello! I hope you've had a wonderful holiday season so far. Another year has gone by, it's soon 2023, but I'd like to pause and take a moment to appreciate all of the wonderful The Sims 2 content that we have received this year before we move on to the next. And there has been so many amazing The Sims 2 videos released, and I've had a really hard time putting one together, but I created a top 10 list of my personal favorites. On 10th place, we have Belladova's Veronaville, 10 rotations later. And my personal favorite so far in this series has been part 3, called the Bin Families. Now, this hood is something that Gabby has been hinting about for quite a while, and this year we finally got to see it. And I was definitely not disappointed. As the title says, it's 10 rotations later. So a lot has happened since she started out with the neighborhood, and I just think it's so interesting to see where all the Sims have ended up, what fates they've had, what the relationships they've formed, and how the neighborhood has developed throughout these years. It's also very fascinating to see the way that Gabby has transformed this neighborhood from where she started out to how it looks now. And I think that it really goes to show that she has both British and Italian roots, because looking at these houses that she's renovated in this neighborhood, they look so atmospheric and true to Veronaville, really. I think that she has honored the history of the neighborhood itself, the Sims, and I think that she's also paid homage to the Shakespearean roots of all of the Sims and families in this neighborhood. It's really cool to see, and I highly recommend the entire series. On place number 9, we have Brianna Peppers and her Sims 2 Uberhood series. And my favorite so far has been the introductions, and specifically Veronaville. And that is where she goes through all of the different families that she has in her Uberhood before the actual Let's Play series starts. So her Uberhood consists of Pleasantview, Strangetown, Veronaville, Downtown, and Académie Le Tour. So there's a lot of Sims to go around, and I have to say the relationships that she has in her Uberhood are really cool. I'm someone who has never played a Uberhood before, and I was super inspired to start my own after watching this series. And I think that anyone who sits down to watch this is going to feel the same way, because all of the different relationships and different families that has been created in this Uberhood are so cool to see, because you never see that just sitting down to play Pleasantview, for example. And it's really opened up my mind to new possibilities. It's really cool. And I have to say that the way that she tells the story is so engaging, and her voice is so calming. I really can't recommend her series enough. On 8th place, we have April Black and her The Sims 2 Corruption Technical Deep Dive video. This is a fairly recent video and an extremely detailed study into the game code conducted by a software developer. And it's so fascinating to get to know all of these different details and what actually goes on behind the scenes when you play the game. I think that corruption is something that a lot of us have had very strong opinions about. Some people have been terrified that something in the background will just destroy their neighborhood so that they can't play the game anymore. And some of us has been sort of rolling our eyes at corruption as a whole and just thought about it as a myth or a boogeyman. But this detailed study really shows exactly what hood corruption is, why it happens, and just draws logical conclusions that are easy to follow and very well explained. I highly recommend that anyone who plays The Sims 2 watches this video, because it's such a great study. On place number 7, we have Winter 11 Summer with the Attachment Theory Machinima series. And my favorite episode so far has been the first one, called Deadbeat. And the reason for that is really the storytelling, and that one especially was so great. There were so many different twists and turns, but the entire series is definitely worth a watch. This is a subtitled series with original characters, and it's really, really amazing. I think that Winter really succeeds as something that is so difficult to do, and that is introducing a full cast of characters and making you get into the story at once and making you care about the characters at once. Throughout watching this series, I of course got my own personal favorite characters, but all of them are so personable and their stories are so interesting that it's really, really easy to just get into it and get hooked at once. So if you're looking for a great machinima series to watch, definitely check this one out. On 6th place, we have Lito Mills with the How Chemistry Works in The Sims 2 plus mods to tweak it. Now, this is a very detailed study in how the chemistry system works in The Sims 2, and it really showcases why Sims have 3 bolts of attraction with each other, why others have a crossed out bolt, and why it seems that some Sims are attracted to one Sim, but that Sim is not attracted to them in return. And it's so fascinating to see. Lito brings all of this together with real-life examples so that you can actually see how the Sims react in different situations. And things that you thought you knew about the attraction system might actually not be the case, such as the attractive and unattractive traits that you pick for your Sim. They actually don't contribute all that much to the overall attractiveness. It's so fascinating, and I highly recommend you watch this video if you want to learn more about that. On 5th place, we have Laptibio and The Foundlings, Chapter 1, Raise the Dead, a Sims voiceover series. Now, this is a fantastic machinima video, and it's the start of a series that I really hope will continue, because this was just amazing. If you like Game of Thrones, I think that you will love this one because it's so cool. It takes place in a fantasy world with magic and different creatures, and it's just so amazing. I was super impressed with how this was filmed, how it was edited, and the different animations that were used. I mean, at one point there was one character who just threw a knife into a wall and the knife stuck to the wall, and I was like, how did she do that? I still have no idea how that was done. I mean, this was, so incredible, so well done. And I have to say that the voice acting as well was just spot on. I mean, especially this guy, whoever made the voice for this guy, just perfect. So if you're into machinima, you're into fantasy, definitely check this out. On 4th place, we have Stories and Strategy and the Cherry Blossom Springs series, and specifically the first episode in season 2 called Moving Day. Now, this is an integrated neighborhood, and the Sims that she is playing with actually come originally from another neighborhood that she's been playing for 18 years. 18 years! And it's so cool. She's brought them in from that neighborhood into this new one and making them sort of the settlers in the new hood that she's creating. And as she tells the story, as she goes through the different families in this neighborhood, she brings up different videos and snapshots from the previous neighborhood that she had. I mean, it's just so cool to have all of that history weaved into this new story that she's creating. It's so fascinating. And the way that she also plays the game is amazing. I mean, in this episode specifically, that made me so impressed with it, she actually runs a business, and while she runs the business, she has the Sims go on an outing, and she also simultaneously throws a party. So she has an outing, a party, and the business going on at the same time. And I was just sitting there like, what's happening? when I watched it, because it's just, yeah, I'd never even considered that that was even possible before. But I mean, that's just what I mean. She has these fascinating gameplay ideas that are so inspiring, and I mean, she really, really deserves so much praise for creating this amazing neighborhood and these fascinating videos. And I can't recommend her channel enough. On third place, we have Sophie the Puffin with the Machino game, a Sims 2 Squid Game adaptation elimination challenge. This is technically a video that was published on New Year's Eve last year, but that also meant that it could not make it onto my top 10 list for last year because it only just missed it. So I made an exception for this one because it was so amazing. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Squid Game in The Sims 2. And she's brought in all of the well-known characters from Pleasant View, from Strangetown and from Veronaville, and they are sort of competing with each other to reach the end of the Squid Game challenges, really. And it's so creative, so fun. I mean, Sophie is such a master at creating these quick and witty videos that you just nails your attention. You can't look away. It's, yeah, definitely go check this one out because it's incredible. On second place, we have a Big Mouth's Pleasant View series. And my favorite episode so far this year has been episode 14, called Do You? But of course, all of the episodes in this entire series are definitely worth a watch. I highly recommend that you go back to the first episode and watch from there if you haven't seen it already. It's a really, really incredible series. Just as it sounds, it centers around Pleasant View, and then we get these little snippets from different connected neighborhoods as well, of course, but it's really about the families that start in Pleasant View. And it's such a cool, inspiring series to watch. At this point, we're up to season 3, and a lot of things are going on at the same time. There's been a lot of intrigue, a lot of really dramatic things going on. And I really can't wait for the next episode because there are just so many different threads that come together, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So if you haven't seen that Machinima series yet and you're a fan of Pleasant View, definitely give it a watch. And finally, on first place on my top 10 list for 2022, we have Antisocial Bunny and her Asylum series. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been inhaling Bunny's videos like oxygen this entire year. It's been so refreshing, and I can't believe that this is the first year that she's been creating videos as well. They are so well done, so impressive. I mean, her quick wit and the way that she edits, the way that she films these videos is so, so cool. And I have to say, I've never seen before someone do a challenge, like the Asylum challenge, and then once it's done, redo that into a Let's Play series. I mean, that is such a cool idea. And as the series progresses and as she gets more and more into the newer episodes, she starts to weave in these little machinima effects as well into her videos, and I really, really appreciate that. That's so cool. I think that that's the main reason why episode 8, Teenager from Mars, was my favorite of the videos so far this year. But I mean, all of the videos are so amazing. Definitely don't miss out on Antisocial Bunny because her videos are just pure gold. And that was my top 10 list for 2022. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of these amazing videos. They brighten up my year so much. And to anyone who's created The Sims 2 content this year, I thank you so much. I mean, really, it's amazing to me that we're still going on with this old fantastic game and we're still going strong, and it's so great to see. I hope that I could recommend some people to you that you might not have heard of yet, and I'd be really interested to know what your favorite videos were this year. So feel free to leave a list or any recommendations down in the comments below. I'd really love to read that. And with that, I just have to say thank you so much to everyone who's been so kind and so supportive of me this year. Your support really means the world to me. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, and see you next year. Bye!